Good morning. I am so excited that I've got my friend Inge Maskun here to talk with me today. Good morning, Inge.
Hi, Aaron. Good morning.
I know Inge through a business group that I'm part of, and I find what she does so fascinating. It speaks so much to me and about how I try to live my life, but also how she came into being what she calls a dream builder is really a fascinating story. So Inge, share with us, like, why do you do what you do? How did you come to choose this as a career?
Oh, thank you very much, Aaron. Thank you for having me here. So I have been a seeker all my life. That's how I see it. When I was 6 years old, my mom died 2 days after she delivered a baby brother.
Wow.
Now, she, weeks prior to that, she prepped me in the sense that I'm going to be away for a few days, not long, not far away. You can come and visit me. You're going to be a good girl staying at home with your brother and dad, and you come visit. But when I come home, we're going to have a party, she said. I'm bringing home a baby, and you're going to help me take care of the baby. So you're going to be a good sister, a big sister. So I was prepping myself for weeks about this. She went to the hospital, delivered the baby. 2 days after that, she came home in a coffin. So it was confusing for me. A lot of people at home. It looked like a party because a lot of people, but mom wasn't participating. So it was
Mhm,
confusing for me.
mhm.
Uh, but all the family said that, oh, you're just a happy little girl. So you're playing with your dolls, with the bike. So they didn't think anything important to talk about now that I see it as an adult. But second, that was a long time ago in a developing country. I'm from Indonesia, small town. There was no um, grief service or codes or whatever you call it. So
Mm.
it's a fact of life, and everybody dies eventually. So we just move on with life. So so that's happened. 6 months, 7 months after that, I was moved with my brother to a bigger city to be raised by an aunt, my mom's older sister. So separated from my dad because my dad ran two businesses at home. Oh, this young kid should be with a mother figure. So the family just decided on that out of very good intention.
Right.
And then that baby brother died 5 months after that. So 11
Wow.
months he died. Three things, big thing happening in my life within a year and a half.
Mhm.
So I went along. It's life.
You're a
As
kid.
I grew
Don't have a
older,
choice.
didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
It's just and the older people, the grown-ups around me, that's life too. They didn't know. They just thought that this would be good for these young people.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up thinking, looking at that and say, oh, I didn't have a mother. So I was comparing myself to other people always. Oh, this is the reason. My aunt is a single mom, a business person, raising me and my brother, her own daughter. That's another story on itself because she became a widow when she was 24 with a 3-month-old baby. The
Wow.
husband was taken by Japanese soldiers during the Second World War. Never returned. So
Wow.
she did everything to raise a family, and then she took in the two of us. So
Right.
hardly ever at home. I
Mm-hmm.
never get hugged by my aunt, whom we call
Mm-hmm.
mom. It's not because she didn't want to; she was just busy.
Right.
So I grew up detached from that, or did not have the experience of having a mother because my dad is flying in and out, in and out.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking for something curious about why other people could have it, I couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? Why is that? So, and I grew up becoming a controlling person, controlling in the sense that I controlled how I do things. I was a planner. If somebody promised me something and I said, how are you going to do that? Well, tell me this and this, because to me, my mom just walked away from me.
Mhm.
I was waiting and I thought we are going to have a party. She didn't hug me. She didn't say goodbye. It's just boom, out. As I was growing older, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I think from the outside, my perception is that that is a very common reaction to people who grow up
Absolutely.
in what you would consider chaos or a uncontrollable situation. I
Yeah,
know I behaved that way when I was younger, growing up in a very chaotic household as well, is that I would try to control everything that I could control because it made me feel
absolutely.
safe.
Yes. It's the survival thing. It's natural for human. It's just going, oh, this is like a something happening so that it doesn't happen again. This is what I would do. And then over time, you became good at doing it that way. And then the controlling thing
Right?
raising up, and it's interesting to watch it back. And apparently some people, so I had two businesses when I was in Indonesia before I moved to America in 2002. I moved to Minnesota. So I had two businesses. Now that I'm doing what I'm doing now, when I go back, still good friends with all those people who work with me. And then I asked them because I was curious about it in the later stage. And I said, tell me who I was in front of you before. Give me feedback, because now I could feel it. I could see the difference in me. And they said, you are so, this is what they said. In a nutshell, they say, you have a lot of things that you know about life. Uh, I always was drawn to you for advice
Mhm.
because you seem to always know what you say, how to guide people. But they say, and as a boss, as a supervisor, you're a creative person. People are drawn to you, but they couldn't get close to you. That's how they said it.
Right.
There was some kind of a barrier. So you never really took us in, that sometimes make them feel, am I not good enough? Is this so much I can be friends with you? So I have
Mhm.
very few really close friends. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. And then the second one, they said that you're very snappy. Uh, you're straight to the point. If you don't like, you're gonna say it, or this and this, and boom, you have to do. And the third one is they look at me as a micromanager. You're very particular. This is how we have to do it, as if like. But somehow they said you micromanage us, but there is some kind of a draw. Why did we say I don't know?
Well, and
So
I
it was
love that
interesting.
about you because you hit the word on the head, like curiosity. That there aren't a lot of people that have the guts to go to people around them and say, "Hey, give me feedback. Give me feedback about how I was or how I am."
Uh-huh.
And that takes a lot of courage to be able to do that, but it
Oh,
also
thank
gives
you.
so much insight.
Yeah, because I was just curious about it.
Yeah.
Knowing now, I felt the change and the shift. So I was curious. How did
Mhm.
you see me before?
Right, right.
How
Well,
did
and that's
you know?
that's a good segue into let's talk about what you actually do. Like I said, it's so I am in awe of what you do, and I find it
Oh,
so
thank you.
valuable.
Mhm.
But let's tell people, let's talk about what you do.
Yes, yes. I'm certified as a dream builder coach and a life mastery consultant. How I came about this is because of part of my seeking things in life. Somehow I felt I wasn't complete as a person. I had a great career, businesses, all the fame, the success, and this and that. And I thought people would say, these are all the ingredients for a happy life. But somehow I feel inside, it's not fulfilled. I didn't
Mhm.
feel fulfilled. And I said, what is going on here? So I always look for, I became a reader of self development books and mentor with people, did different kind of workshop, and on and on and on like that. And then it reached a point in 1998. I was working already for close to 20 years in advertising. And I thought, this is not my place. But I didn't dare to step out of it. Not just that, but prior to that, 10 years prior to that, 5 years prior to that, I just pushed it away. And then it looked good and felt good for a while. And then it came back again, like some kind of discontent.
Mhm.
And then, but I kept pushing it away. And I thought, well, this is what I did well. I wouldn't dare to actually jump ship and do something else. So I push it away until a friend of mine noticed this, a very good friend, close friend, and said, Inge, come join me this workshop. And I said, oh, I've been to workshop. And I said, no, this is different, she said.
Huh?
And then I asked, I said, Monica, tell me, what is it so I can decide? She said, no, I cannot tell you. She said, you have to experience it. I went to that. I felt for 4 days, they built me up, but then they pushed me to get deeper into myself, to really ask yourself. So I felt I was pushed and then cracked open.
Mhm.
But after that, wow, I said, I did not notice. So I had been pushing it away to get deeper into, that's why my program now, I call it the I Am Mastery Class.
Mhm.
Because that I found out there, we are such a powerful and contains so much more potential than we knew and realized. I live a life playing a game unconsciously, unintentionally. And that game is always, I can handle everything. This and this, oh, look at this. I survive. I can do. So without knowing, this is the life that I play.
Mhm.
It's not my life, because I had this content that I push away, thinking that, no, accept this. You're good at this thing. Don't try something new.
I think that's so common because we societally, definitely in the United States, and obviously you felt sway in Indonesia as well,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
that it's important to have a stable career. It's important to do what you're good at, what you're
Yes.
supposed to do,
Yes.
and the further you get in life, the more obligations you have, and the
Yes.
more fearful you are of making a change, even if you feel in your heart that you aren't in the right
Yes.
place. And
Yes.
it's amazing how many people, once they really start thinking about it, and I think you and I have talked about this before too, is that it isn't that they can't make a change, it's the fear of making that change. It's the
Yes.
mental perception that you can't do that.
Yes. Yes.
And so many people, and people struggle with that in all sorts of different ways, whether it's career, whether it's
Right.
being in an unhappy
Everything
relationship.
in life. Yeah.
Right.
You're
And
right.
you have shared with me so many stories about people who you've worked with who have
Mhm.
overcome something like that. Do you have
Mhm.
like a short story about someone you worked with
Mhm.
that you could share?
This is the reason one. This person, Indonesian, who lived in America for a long time, for 20 something years in Colorado originally. And she always had a dream to open a restaurant, Indonesian restaurant. Her family, her parents, her sister in Colorado had restaurants. It's more Asian fusion type of
Mhm.
restaurant. And the sister had it, the parents had it. She helped, but she never had her own.
Mhm.
So the last 5 years, she wanted to have that more and more. Her daughter in Indonesia went to a culinary school in Bali. So she was called to do that. And then she decided and she said, I cannot do it in. So this is human thinking. Nothing is wrong with this. But she felt that if I am doing it in Colorado, I'm competing with my family. So I
Mhm.
had to go out of this. Just so happened, her significant other has a relationship with Duluth because the brother here, the parents here, and said, let's go to Duluth. They visited, they like it. There is no Indonesian or Asian restaurant as many here. So they decided, okay, we're gonna open it. It took them a year and a half to get the place ready, renovated the whole thing and this and that. So a month ago, exactly a month ago, they opened. But prior to that, she actually said this to me. Somehow I know I'm looking for a mentor. Not about the business, she said, it's about here. Because I always felt that I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. But every time I felt that way, that call is coming again. But open it, open it. So for a year and a half, she was like that. She already confirmed a place, and then she was wobbly. To the point, at one point, she said, maybe we should just get out of here. Because every time something shows up that is not in favor to what her dream is, kitchen fell apart. Buying this, somebody didn't show up, and this and that. She always rethink that and second thought herself. And this is the interesting part, what she said. Maybe this is the sign that I should move on. So then we started working together 3 months ago. And it's a little different because it's a one-on-one. So I guided her a little differently. Every time she said that, and I said, okay, that could be a sign, but it could also be not the only sign. Would you accept that? Oh, she said, yeah, but if this is continuously coming to me, don't you think that this is a sign? Well, yes and no, I said, because there could be the sign, but it could be because you wanted that sign unconsciously. And she said, how is that possible? I've always wanted this business. Why would I have this fear as if like, and I said, because you know this, Aaron, in wanting to do something, really liking this, but somewhere along the line, fear always shows up. Fear is just a common thing in life. No one has no fear. Everyone, including the one that's already successful, always there. And I said, okay, we can shift this. So if you think this is what you want, but at the same time, this is the worry that you have, and unconsciously, this is what you feed. Because you keep thinking about it. And the universe didn't know the difference. If you continuously put your attention there, the energy will think, oh, you wouldn't broadcast this on and on and on if you don't like it. That must be what you like. I'm going to give you more.
Well, and this is, we talk about in my coaching group as the reticular activator, right? That, for example, in my business, when people are buying a house, suddenly they notice everybody else, they know who's buying a house. Whereas if they're not buying a house at that time, they don't pay attention to that. And the same thing is true about positive or negative thoughts. And also it's human nature, right? That if you're thinking about making a big change in your life, whether it's for fitness or it's for your career, that it can sometimes make people around you a little bit uncomfortable because it is making you someone different than who they knew. And so sometimes with the best intentions, people will try to highlight the negatives of change you're thinking about making out of trying to protect you from disappointment or whatever it might be, when what you really need is somebody to help amplify those positive thoughts and positive intentions in your head rather than the status quo or the negative or the fear.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing that I make her notice is that this all happening before the D-Day, the launch day, right? All back and forth, back and forth. Once she realized that, oh, I have put my attention on the worry. Okay. And then the second one, I said, when did it happen? Right before you're launching. 2-3 weeks, because it's getting intense to the D-Day. And the bigger your dream, usually, the bigger the fear.
Mhm.
The reason is because the dream is so big of something that you haven't done. You've never done it before, never opened a restaurant. You help in your family's restaurant, it's not yours. So the bigger the dream, the bigger the fear. Fear only two things. One is a signal that you are in danger. So I said, is this a life or death? Or death kind of thing? No, she said. So if nothing works, are you gonna die? She said, no. Okay, that's good. The second one is a signal of the unknown. That's it. That's what fear is. That you are in danger or it's unknown. In
Mhm.
her case, it's the unknown, of course.
Right, right.
Boom, they open 1 month. They almost couldn't handle how many people, repeat customer. There are people, she said, that is already coming to us like 3-4 times. And I said, how do you feel now?
Uh-huh.
I said, I really am grateful. See, did you remember a month
Right,
ago how you?
right. Yeah, but you don't realize that until you're over the hump, and then you can look
Yeah,
back and say, yeah, that was a good choice. Well, and
yeah,
something else you and I have talked about in the past that I want to touch on for just a minute because I love this so much and find it really different from what a lot of people do with coaching. But you love working with young people, with schools,
yeah,
and with um,
yeah.
high school students to help them open their mind on and connect with what's important to them
Mm-hmm,
to build the dream of what they want to do with their lives and their
mm-hmm,
careers. I
mm-hmm,
feel like so many of us, you had this experience, I've had this experience, that as we start to get older, maybe we're in our 30s, maybe we're in our 40s, and we start to really question those things. But when we're young, we aren't taught to like break the mold, right? We aren't taught to
right,
necessarily, take the safe path, um, do what
right.
society expects of you. And I think, wow, how much different would so many people's lives be if they'd had that guidance when they were in their formative years instead of after they had 20 years of adulting under their belts.
Exactly,
But
exactly.
talk about some of your work with students or schools a little bit.
Yeah, I've always loved, and I think it's because I subconsciously I think about my 6-year-old being, and if I knew uh, that formative age period in life you mentioned before, where we were so imaginative, young kids, so easy to imagine something, right?
Yes.
And dream building is about imagination.
Mhm.
When I ask people, 40 and above, and they say, what would you love? What is the one thing in life that you said, before I put my head for the last time, I must do this because
Mhm.
it's something they usually couldn't recall.
Mhm.
Not because they don't have it, because they bury it. But kids easily say that. So I
Mhm.
was thinking, if I could bring this idea of continue building a dream, what is it that you love in life? People always say, oh, dream is like something big, Inge. What is it that you love? What you love is your dream. If I could help young people maintain this and continue dreaming, everything is possible, and I know everything is possible, it lessen the burden of older people to feel unneeded, lonely, unfulfilled, that type of thing. That is the reason why I always wanted to, if I could just connect with young people as early as possible, so we can help them to live happily, happily, not just living, but truly becoming alive. It's only
Mhm.
one life. If we're not alive,
Yes.
we're like living, waiting for the D-Day to happen.
Mhm. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
Life
reason.
isn't
Yeah.
tomorrow and next week. It's now.
Yes, yes, that is. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
So
So decision.
you do workshops, right? You do free workshops to introduce people
I
to
do
this.
workshop.
Yeah.
Mhm,
You talk about that a
mhm.
little bit.
So I do workshop twice a month. It's complimentary, 90 minutes. December will be the 28th at 5 o'clock Central Time. We're in Central Time. So next month is about creating a life that you love. Because I heard this quote, I don't know who said it, but the first time I heard it, it really hit me. And I thought, wow, this is what it is. It says here like this, Aaron. Some people get to live to be 90, but most people live 1 year repeated 90 times. And I thought, wow, that just give me something. Am I here to repeat the same year on and on and on and on? It's not wrong if I have repeated it in my life. I had. But there is, even if I could help somebody live, truly live fully, even for a week, even for a month, don't you think it's worth it? To really feel fulfilled for a week before I go. I would. That is what I would love to help as many people to realize that we all can make that life.
Yes.
Build that life. Definitely.
And what a great time. I mean, I know you do the workshops twice a month so people can join when it works for them. But what a great time that week between Christmas and New Year's, as people are starting to think about, what changes they want to make in their life. What a great jumping off point to help you really connect with what's important to you and guide what your dream building is going to be for the next year. I like that idea so much better than resolutions, but dream building for the new year. How do people get in touch with you if they want to reach you or if they want to sign up for a workshop?
Yeah. They can connect with me through Facebook. Inge Maskun, living your inspired life, or LinkedIn, or they can text me. Text me the number 218-349-3806. That receive the text, and I can chat with them, or share the workshop, and they can experience it. And I would love to help people. Everything is possible. Now I know.
Yes.
So
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your gift and talking about this today. I like I said at the beginning, I absolutely love what you do, and I wish that everybody connected with you to really become mindful of what they want their life to be.
Thank you very much. Likewise, you are a person of a servant soul. You always, I admire your work, how you help your clients.
Thank you.
Thank you. You have a great day.
You as well.